Welcome to the RealTea podcast, brought to you by Tennessee Realtors and sponsored by Rule First, helping you live closer to what matters. I'm your host, Angela Shields. This podcast is created for Tennessee Realtors to get the tea on all things real estate in Tennessee. We'll bring you engaging conversations with esteemed guests in the real estate industry and cover a wide array of topics, including current events, governmental affairs, education, and legal updates. We are very excited today to have a special guest with us on the RealTea podcast, and that guest is Geoff Hurdle, who will be serving as the 2026 RLI REALTORS Land Institute president. So, Geoff, welcome to the RealTea.
Thank you, Angela. I appreciate you having me.
We are excited. Now, before we kick off and start talking everything to do about the sale of land and the REALTORS Land Institute, I have a special question for you. We ask every guest this question. We're called the RealTea podcast, so I want to know, what do you take in your teacup?
Nothing. Well, if I drink tea, just tea. Otherwise, it's coffee.
Well, a lot of people say that to me. They don't drink tea, they drink coffee instead. So that's perfectly acceptable.
But if I do drink tea, it'll just be whatever's brewed. I don't add anything to it.
Well, a lot of people are like that. I have even had some who are like, hey, we're in the South, I'm going to have sweet tea and not have hot tea. So that's
understandable. That's a good answer as well.
Totally get it. So let's talk about the REALTORS Land Institute. We may have some that are not familiar with what the REALTORS Land Institute does. So in a nutshell, can you share what that organization is?
I sure will. We are one of the commercial affiliates for NAR, or NAR, as I'm supposed to say. We are all things land, all types of land, farms, ranches, rec land, timbers, vineyards, transitional development, land management, auctions, appraisals, everything that has to do with the land. That's what we do. We serve agents, brokers, landowners. We provide educational resources, networking opportunities. We actually bestow the Accredited Land Consultant, ALC designation through RLI. So that's pretty much us in a nutshell.
And there's a lot to learn when it comes to specializing in land, just like there is when you specialize in commercial or any other specialty. And I think a lot of people don't realize that. So I'm very excited to talk about everything that you can learn when it comes to land and why you really should consider getting a designation or joining a group like RLI so you can stay up to date on those types of issues and not necessarily think just because you sell real estate, you sell residential, that you can just go out to a tract of land and think that that's just easy to sell. So yeah, let's dive into that just a little bit, because what's the difference? What are some of the things that you would really need to specialize in and understand?
Wow, you're going in deep right out of the gate. Article 11.
That's right.
I believe in Article 11. In fact, just this morning, I've got a condo in Chattanooga, and I put it on the market, and I'm not doing it. Because I don't know anything. I've been in business 34 years. I've never sold a house. I'm a land guy, and I stick to it. So I hired a local agent to sell my condo, and I've hired agents in the past to sell houses. So you've got, zonings. You have residential. You've got commercial, but you have, under everything is the land. So all the zonings pertain to us. So you have to know that. Soils, you need to know stuff about sewer and sewer locations. You need to know, it's endless, Angela. I could go on for hours about what you need to know. What you need to know is a good land agent. If you're not going to practice land and or learn about it. We have educational and transitional land. We have farm and ranch land. We have commercial land. We have land development courses we offer. There's a lot to learn. A whole lot.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing. I even know from my time in Texas, there's mineral rights that come with land. And when we say, I do want to go back and make this clear, when we say that you're serving as president, you're not serving for Tennessee, you're serving for the whole entire nation, for the whole country you'll be serving. So that's a lot of people you will represent. How many people are members of RLI?
We're right around the 2,000 mark, and we have about 750 ALC designees. And we are small but mighty. We've had our top. So we had 200 and I'm going to get the numbers not exactly right, but last year at our awards program we had 255 applicants, and those 255 applicants sold over $9 billion worth of land real estate.
Wow.
In 2024. So
that's amazing.
Yes, but we do cover every bit of the land.
That is definitely amazing. And so when you join RLI, what are some of the benefits that come with being a member of an organization like RLI?
Oh, well, our education is top tier. If you need to learn it in the land industry, we offer it. And we have, I think it's 11 courses right now, and constantly being updated. In fact, we've updated our land investment analysis class last year. We're in the middle of updating our Land 101 course, which is like your introductory course to land, and also about to start up our transitional land, which is, in a nutshell, any land that needs to be rezoned to do what you plan on doing with it. So education is one. Collaboration with one another, different peers across the country, learning from them. I'm constantly learning. No one, I don't think, in this business knows it all, and don't have a reason to know it all necessarily. You mentioned water rights earlier. We don't deal with that in the Southeast. But you go to Colorado. I was out there with a member once, and he was kind of showing me his pivot irrigation system and explaining to me about the water rights, and right over my head. I'd never heard of it, but there's battles about that. But the best thing about it is the camaraderie and the relationships that you build with other members inside RLI. I've done deals that I would not have done if it was not for my membership. I guess y'all have this in the residential side, but we have what we call a haves and wants session. We can have them anywhere. We'll have them at dinner. We'll have them at conference. We can have them at a bar. We had one in a van. We were headed to the Southeastern Land Conference in South Georgia a few years ago. There were 7 of us that met at the Atlanta airport to rent a van and ride down together. We did a haves and wants in the van going down, and I ended up buying a place that came up through there. It was in Sweetwater, Tennessee. I developed it and sold it, and then did another one with an agent in the car a few months later. So that's the number one thing as far as your business goes, is having the relationships you can have with one another in the land business.
Is there classes that if someone was just interested in learning about land, that maybe they're not a member, but they want to get started, can they take classes?
Absolutely. Don't need to be a member. We encourage you to be a member. Of course, that's one of my biggest jobs is to recruit membership. But yes, our classes are open. You can take them. I would start off with Land 101. They're offered all over the place. We have them online live. We have them live in class sessions with instructors in front of you. We have these they call the online ones that are live virtual online training courses, VILT I think they call it. And then we have a few of them you can learn on your own pace. I recommend doing it in person with an instructor, with other people around you, because the questions and the bantering back and forth, at least for me, help a lot.
So, Geoff, how did you become interested in land sales and end up making that your specialty?
Oh, that's an easy one. I'm the grandson of a farmer and the son of a developer. So the land side was pretty easy to get into. It's all I'd ever been around. And so I went to college. Well, Dad told me I had to go to college. And he said, that's not a choice. And I told him what I wanted to do. And he knew what I wanted to do. And he's like, I understand that. When you get out of college, you can go. So I did. I went to college, got my license the year I got out, and started selling. I worked with him as a developer and sold this tracts here and there, whatever I could. And that was 1992. So what, 34 years ago about?
So that's exciting.
Well, actually, that's not real exciting. That's kind of boring.
No, it's exciting.
I
that
didn't do
you've
it.
been able-
No one. I didn't have some crazy story to share. It's just I wanted to do it, and I started it, and I stuck with it.
It's exciting that you've been able to make your career on land sales and make that your passion to be able to not only make that where you've made your living, but also made your leadership path. And look at you here on the national level taking on that role.
Well, I am. RLI had a lot to do with me still being in it, though. And I'm sure it's a question coming up, so I'll go ahead and answer it because everybody asks is how did I find RLI or why did I join RLI?
It's a great question.
I say it like it's a joke, but it's not. I was online researching something, and I came across their website, and I looked at it real quick and hit the join button, paid my dues, and went on about what I was researching, and kind of forgot I joined until I started getting emails from them. And then after that, I got this thing we call an e-property, and that's where, if you're a member, you can, load up a listing you've got, and it'll go to all the different members that want to see listings from that state. And they started coming through in droves. I realized I was signed up for all 50 states. So I turned that off and got back just to Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama. And I had one come up that I thought looked interesting. And I called the fella, and I hadn't been a member 2 weeks. And he and I started talking, and I liked it. I ended up buying it and developing it. Got him to sell them for me, and he did. So that was, that just got me fired back up. I was almost ready to hang it up. In 2018, I was tired, and it had just gone on long enough. COVID was about to kick in, or had already kicked in maybe, and I'd been in it a long time. But I joined RLI, then I started getting more emails, and went to land conference that year, which happened to be in Nashville. At the time, I lived in Lebanon, so I was just down the street. So I went, and it fired me up. And here it is, 7 years later, and I'm president. That's kind of how I found it, but it did keep me. I don't know what I was going to do if I got out of it, but I'm glad I stayed in.
Well, we're glad you stayed as well. Let's change our focus for just a little bit. We talked about networking, you've talked about education, but one of the key pieces I believe the organization does and does well is their legislative piece. I know we've partnered with RLI here in Tennessee with some of the issues that they have really honed in on having to do with land.
Yes.
Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, and we thank you, Tennessee Association of Realtors, for that partnership, because that was the open fields doctrine.
Yeah.
We had filed a Friends of the Court brief with you. That was 2024, so it wasn't that long ago. And because of that, it was a case we won, one of several we won. And that one, because of, Tennesseans are now protected in warrantless intrusions on their private land, in land that's put to actual use. Tennessee now deems that unconstitutional, and before it wasn't. You want me to go in about what that was, or?
Oh, you're welcome to.
I'm okay. They had the state of Tennessee had set up some cameras on someone's private property in search of, I guess, poaching, and had not asked permission, not said anything about doing it. Just did it in the secret of the night, hung them in trees. And the story was Tennessee came in, knocked on his front door, came in the middle of dinner time, and arrested him and took him to jail for violation of what I guess is going to be poaching. And he, of course, fought that. And it went all the way up to the state level. And that's when we became partners with you. and won that case. I mean, it was a horrible intrusion of private property rights, and so that was the case. But we fight things with WOTUS, the Waters of the United States, the Bureau of Land Management issues out west, where we do have, BLM land. So yeah, we're always, we have Russell Riggs. Russell is a senior policy representative in the advocacy department at NAR. And I'm sure you know Russell.
Yes.
He fights in the energy sectors, environment, land use, property rights, visas, natural resources. He's the everything, and he's been with us 25 years. Well, been with them 25 years. But he's our direct connect. And without his heavy work, and then our work with you and all combined, we're pretty powerful on the Hill, I'd like to say.
Yeah, I think it's another example of issues that NAR does work on and protects private property rights, that a lot of times members are unaware that these types of things are happening for the consumers and for property owners, that we really do make a difference.
Oh, we do. And you can't get across everything to every member. They just have to know that we're out there, we're working it, and we are certainly there for their best interests, all realtors and all sectors.
Right. And if we weren't there, I don't know who would be. If we weren't there to be able to help in these issues, I really don't know who would be there to protect their interests.
Yeah, there wouldn't be anyone.
Yeah, I agree. So thinking about you stepping into this new role, what are some of the trends that you're starting to see, and what are some of the things you're planning to focus on?
Oh my. Well, I mean, I won't say I'm going in empty. I do have a small list of things. Quality, sustainable growth with the membership. Don't want to recruit members just to have a member number on a list. We want people who are going to participate, who are going to be land agents, and who are going to help promote the industry. And with that, with our current membership, I'm trying to, like all organizations, fight the apathy. We have members who don't show up, who continue to be members and are in the land business, but they're just not getting involved. And I think they're not getting all they need to get out of RLI if they're not going to get involved. We're about to kick off an environmental survey and do some market research and create a new 3 to 5 year strategic plan for RLI. And that's actually starting. I'll probably start getting the phone calls for meetings this month. And that's exciting to take a look at, just a deep dive into the real estate industry. And as always, education is a constant. We will always be continuing to improve our courses and adding new ones. In most of our classes, especially in Tennessee, I can tell you they're all approved for CE. There's a little pitch, come take our classes. But some of them are 8, 16, and 24 hours long. The LIE class is 24 hours, takes 3 days from 9 to 5 to get that in. It solves all your education requirements, but it's a beast. But we're going to start adding some shorter 3-hour courses for CE work as well. So that's kind of where my mind is headed in for 2026.
Well, those are great. And as you look back, what are some of the accomplishments that have occurred over 2025?
Oh, wow. Well, the cases we work with NAR, the open fields doctrine and the WOTUS cases and the different amicus briefs we've done, those are all, big wins for us. We did finish our RLI advocacy manual. We have a policy manual now in writing that outlines our 15 positions on different issues in the real estate. And it's guided by our 4 pillars, which private property rights, reducing regulatory burdens, preserving beneficial tax structures, and encouraging property and economic development. That was a big win to get that completed last year.
That's great. If someone were interested in following along and learning more about RLI, how would they do so?
RLIland.com is our website. And if they go to RLIland.com, most any question they want to answer, they could find on there. But they can reach out to me. Reach out to, well, I won't put anybody else in that position. They can reach out to me. I'm easily located online.
I know that I personally follow RLI on social media, and a lot of good information comes out on whether it's Facebook or LinkedIn. They do a great job of keeping really good information out there. So I would also recommend that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So back to a personal question. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Oh.
What's just a crazy, without giving a property away, what's a crazy encounter you've had when it comes to dealing with land?
Most of mine are zoning cases that are crazy. I've been, stuck in the mud and on a side by side with clients. We've had to hike out. I mean, you really get to know your client on those kind of days. Run across snakes that people didn't want to cross. Pouring down rain. It's just in the land business, that there's an umbrella do you a whole lot of good in the woods. So you usually just go out with boots and you just get what you get. Okay, I'm not sure how crazy you want to get with this, but showing a property to a client about, this was 20 years ago maybe. It was winter and we had no side-by-side, so we're just leaving the truck. We walk out through the woods and we're just going all through it. And the next day, they called me up and asked me how I felt. I said, I feel fine. Well, we had walked through, or at least they did, apparently some poison ivy.
Oh no!
And the vines, it was off season for it, but the oil's still there in the vines, and they had gotten it all over them. And they had had to relieve themselves while they were in the woods, so it was everywhere.
Oh no!
Crazy. But like I said, most of my craziness comes in zoning cases. I had one in Lebanon. It took us, and some people not in the land business don't realize they don't always happen quick like a house. This one deal took 36 months to get from contract to close.
Oh goodness!
Because of different zoning issues and fights and reapplications and all that. So that was, I felt like I lived with that one for a while.
My goodness, that sounds very much like a commercial property.
Oh yes.
Yeah, kind of tracking the same time distance. Well, I'm going to turn to something near and dear to your heart because I know this about you personally. I know that when Hurricane Katrina happened, that not Katrina, I'm sorry, Hurricane Helene happened, that you immediately jumped into action and started everything that you could do to get supplies out to Tennessee and to North Carolina. And I want to personally say thank you, but I also want to give you an opportunity to, if there's anything you would like to say about what realtors can do when those types of things happen or get involved. I know you weren't expecting me to say that. You probably don't want the recognition, but I do know how much that you did. And I think it's worth talking about for a minute.
Sure. Well, thank you. But yeah, Helene hit close to home for me. I went to school in Western North Carolina, actually in Banner Elk to Lisa McRae College. And that was one of the hardest hit areas and least reported areas. I have friends that still live there, and we was actually hit homecoming weekend. So we had already had booked a place up there when it hit, and we went anyway, and we, tried to see what we could do. They actually let us up, is what we were surprised about the most. and got to work and saw the need and came back. And of course, I called Carol at the Chattanooga Association of Realtors, and we started filling a trailer. And a friend of mine, another land and housing guy, Jeff Ramsey, we started filling up trailers and taking them up. And Lee Brown out of North Carolina contacted us. Actually, Jeff knew Lee, so she contacted us, and we were radioing back and forth over the mountains, who needs what, and trying to get things lined up, and ended up doing, I think between Jeff and I together, probably about 8 or 9 trips coming up to Western North Carolina and East Tennessee. And to get involved, do what the realtors did before. I mean, they came through strong. Our association offices all over were gathering supplies, and someone would take them up. That someone just happened to be me and Jeff in Chattanooga. I don't know, I don't know why anyone would see the need in something like that, in that kind of destruction, and not, if they had the time and the capabilities, just to go ahead and help.
Yeah, I often say that realtors are the heart of the community, and they are the first to respond in many cases, and a lot of people don't even realize that. You, in my opinion, are one of the unsung heroes that a lot of people don't even, you didn't necessarily look for the recognition, so a lot of people don't even realize all that you did, but many of us did see it. And again, I want to say thank you and appreciate all that you did. And it's amazing how much you did do. And so thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And I know it meant a lot to the community, but I know how much it did pull at your heartstrings, because I did know that was your hometown, and wanted to give you a moment to at least talk about that. I hope that they are on the road to recovery at this point.
It's a long road, but they're certainly in a better position than they were. But there are areas that I knew, and physically they'll never be the way they were. Some of the mudslides that slid all the way down to the granite below it, and the soil's gone. So it won't be back the way it was. It'll be the new normal, and it'll grow from there. But they're tough people. They're going to make it.
Yeah. Well, they'll definitely remain in our prayers.
Thank you.
So as we wrap up, Geoff, is there anything that you would recommend, or some advice that you would give to somebody who might be thinking about a career path that leads them down the road of land sales?
Education. Get educated on it. It's not as brisk as the housing sales, from what I gather. I see people, I've got 9 closings this month. I had 3 last week. I got 2 today. That doesn't happen in the land business all that often. And I guess it depends on what land you're in. Mainly my focus is residential development tracts, because I'm the son of a developer and a developer myself. And so those certainly don't happen all that often. But when you have a land closing, generally it's a good day for your business. So work hard, stay diligent, focus, don't give up. And there's nothing wrong with, if you know how to sell houses. I don't. We have plenty of people in RLI that also sell houses. They've learned both sides of the market, and they can do that. So there's nothing wrong with selling houses and being a member of RLI. And sometimes those houses help fill in the gaps. Unfortunately, I never learned it. So there's that.
Well, that's great. Well, we will put the information for our RLI in our notes on the podcast. And in the meantime, we look forward to your installation at the national meetings, and wish you the best in 2026.
Thank you. I don't want to do a quick plug. I'd feel bad if I didn't. Again, don't have to be a member to attend, but in March, the 20th Annual National Land Conference will be held in San Antonio.
Ooh.
That is where we had our first land conference 20 years ago. It'll be at the Grand Hyatt on the Riverwalk, and it is absolutely the best conference I've ever attended. I will never miss the National Land Conference. It was spectacular, always has been spectacular, It's going to be a big time. We've got some new changes and things coming up this year. We have the Cowboy auction for our Land Education Foundation fundraising. We have it's just a really good time. And if you really want to learn this business, attend that.
What a fun city.
Yes.
And how many days is the conference?
It's 3 days. It is. I should know the dates by heart. It is March. I think it's 14th, 15th, and 16th. I don't want to leave this right here. Sorry. But it's on our website, RLIland.com under events. So is a link on how you can start reading up on it. Registration just opened up yesterday for that, so I urge you to come and be a part of it. And that's also open. We have surveyors, engineers, soil scientists, anyone associated with the land or wants to learn about it. I highly.
Sounds great. Sounds great. We will include that in our notes as well.
All right.
So again, thank you for joining us. I think we got a lot of great information.
Well, thank you for having me, Angela.
Absolutely. We'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all for joining us today on the RealTea podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with your friends and colleagues. Then visit tnrealtors.com to submit your questions and topics for future episodes of the RealTea podcast. Thanks for listening.